whenever anybody says, don't listen to so-and-so, you probably should listen to them. Anytime somebody says that this book should be banned, nobody should be allowed to read it, that's your first indication that you should. It reminds me the Catholic Church had a list about all the scientists. You weren't allowed to read anything the scientists were saying. And it was a banned, it was more intellectual stuff. But you also have Dr. Seuss books. Dr. Seuss books are being banned. Why are Dr. Seuss books being banned? In China, the Green Eggs and Ham was banned. And you also had Yertle the Turtle was banned. And I want to say Canadian school. The industry opposed the Lorax. Dr. Seuss himself called himself subversive as hell. Cool. That's badass. He's got about like 3 dozen books. Most of them I think are just kind of, go dog go, just kind of nonsense to help children learn to read. But, so ban books makes you think that, you're banning it for a reason because what, inherent danger is just a bunch of words on a piece of paper. It makes me think of Ricky Gervais. When he became an atheist, he was explaining that he questioned, God and some of the religion, and it was around his little brother, little sister, and his mother said, hey, don't you say that thing to him. So all he was doing was just questioning the thing, but because she acted so crazy, like just the mere suggestion, just the question of saying maybe this isn't right, scared her so much, made her so insecure that she had to, essentially censor her children from listening. And then that's when Ricky Gervais was like, oh, okay, so God isn't real. That's why you don't want me to say anything and question it, because he was just questioning it. So he very much could have still believed in God if his mother, just didn't turn into a total Nazi. Shut up. Don't you dare question God. God's real. Okay. Books that I would start my children out on would be the ones that people had a problem with. The Lorax. You got a problem with the Lorax? Okay, read this book. You also need to read Green Eggs and Ham. Hop on Pop. It's another book that's being banned. Hop on Pop. This says it encourages violence against fathers. In fact, if you read it, it says, don't hop on Pop. That's bad. Don't do that. And it was only, it's the first up, pup. Pup is up. That's the first page. Up, pup. Pup is up. It's helping kids learn to read words. So, maybe subconsciously, maybe he did actually put it in there. So, I'm not totally against, I'm very much for it, actually. I'm very much for questioning authority and him being subversive. Yertle the Turtle was based on Adolf Hitler. Ultimately, he knows all the turtles are free as turtles and maybe all creatures should be. I know up on the top you are seeing great sights, but down at the bottom we too should have rights. Yertle the Turtle. And so Canadian schools banned that book because they were quoting it. The Butter Battle Book, this is written about the Cold War and the USSR, U.S. and USSR nuclear arms race, about let's have a war over which side we should butter our bread. Should we butter our bread on top or should we butter our bread on the bottom? We're going to have a war over this, over an idea, communism or capitalism. So that's fucking genius. So my kids will read the Butter Battle Book first and Yertle the Turtle and Marvin K. Mooney, Will You Please Go Now? He helped push Nixon out of office. He changed Marvin K. Mooney to Nixon. You can go now, Nixon. You can go by foot. You can go by cow. Richard M. Nixon, Will You Please Go Now? After Dr. Seuss changed the name of Marvin K. Mooney to Richard M. Nixon, Will You Please Go Now? Nixon resigned 10 days later. He posted it in the Washington Post. But after he did that, 10 days later, Nixon resigned. So did Dr. Seuss? Was he, was that when Nixon was like, okay, fuck it, Dr. Seuss is against me now. I don't have a chance. Horton Hears a Who. This is dedicated to my great friend Mitsuji Nakamura of Kyoto, Japan. This is after he visited Hiroshima. Horton hears a voice on a dust speck and realizes it is a planet inhabited by the Who's, which means a person's a person no matter how small they are. That's another one. Horton Hears a Who. You got to listen. You got to watch. If you're my kid, you got to read Horton Hears a Who, or I'll read it to you. The Cat in the Hat. This is described as a revolt against authority. And then let's see, the Sneetches. This is against racism. Sneetches, they have a star on their belly, and they think that they're better than the other people or the other Sneetches. They're all Sneetches, but some have stars on their bellies, but some don't. And so the plain belly Sneetches would get discriminated against by the Starbellies, right? Neither the plane nor the Starbellies knew whether this one was that one or that one was this one, or which one was what one or what one was who. That's good. Good writing. So the Sneetches, the Lorax, this is about, somebody needs to care about the deforestation, which, with climate, with global warming, deforestation is one of the main contributors to climate change. And then says, here's just a quote by Dr. Seuss: think left and think right, think low and think high. Oh, the things you can think up if you only try. Just try. The book was actually banned, or somebody tried to get it banned in a library in California, Hop on Pop. And what they were saying was, well, let me read a couple pages so you get the idea. Up, pup. Pup is up, right? There's a puppy, it's up. This is big print pictures, so that way children can learn how to read. Cup, pup. Pup in cup. Oh, look, it's a puppy, and it's in a cup. Pup, cup. Cup on pup. He just reversed it now. Look, the cup's on the pup. Mouse, house. Okay, and it goes on like this, right? Ball, wall, him, Jim. And then eventually you get to hop on pop, right? And really, is it, encouraging violence against fathers? It's hop on pop. Hop and pop rhyme. So could that just be it? Could it just been like, we like to hop on top of pop. Stop. It says stop. You must not hop on pop. Stop. So the lesson of this book isn't to hop on pop. It's to not hop on pop, and it's to learn how to read. So that's so ridiculous. That is so petty. That is so anal. Somebody's going to sit there and try to ban hop on pop. Hop on pop. That's in a free nation, in a free country, we're burning books. I want to talk some about green eggs and ham. So why did China ban green eggs and ham? They said that it portrayed early Marxism. Well, why did it portray early Marxism? Well, they're talking about green eggs and ham. So green eggs and ham, the state owned all the eggs. And in this book, you're going to have one guy, trying to give the other guy his eggs and his ham. But you can't give eggs and ham to the individual. You got to give it to the state, and then the state will distribute it to everybody. And this was also partially, could have been banned for homosexual. And in 1965 in Maoist China, when China was under Mao Zedong, because of its portrayal of early Marxism. Because of its portrayal of early Marxism, a ban that was not lifted until the author died in 1991. It was also banned in California because of Sam I Am's apparent homosexual seduction. Sam I Am. There's, if you look at it, right, you have this little guy, and then I Am Sam, and then he's got this big guy here. So this takes a stretch of the imagination. All this is just two dudes battling it out. Hey, green eggs and ham is delicious. Why don't you try it? I will never try it. Okay, let me try it. Well, look, I like it. So maybe how can you hate something if you never try it? That is a truism, that goes on through centuries. That is true. Prince Rupert School District in British Columbia, Canada, removed Yertle the turtle from schools because it violated a school ban on political messages. No political messages, even though it's talking about anti-fascism. So maybe they didn't want that book being read because public schools are a fascist, totalitarian institution. They're not just controlling your children's behavior, they're controlling their mind and their thoughts and their ideas. That's totalitarian when you get to the person's mind. So, of course, public schools wouldn't want that, right? Quoting, a book that hates Adolf Hitler, the Butter Battle book. I already mentioned about that, but it says it was one of Seuss's most controversial. It was banned in various states in the U.S. and Canada. So, clearly, he was subversive as hell. It says, which side are we going to butter the bread, on top or on bottom? The very last page is blank. Battle book, right? Are we going to butter on the top of the bread or the bottom of the bread? Both sides has a bomb that can destroy everything, and the book ends with a blank page, meaning they did blow up everything by being stupid. My idea is better than your idea, and I'm willing to murder people in Indochina in order to defend capitalism. The Sneetches, somebody banned the Sneetches for having racist content, but actually it was anti-racist. So just talking about racism got it banned, which is crazy. 1992, a California district banned Lorax, or in 1988. But that's, you know, the loggers, the logging industry, of course, they're not going to like that. They're saying, hey, protect the environment. You know, someone needs to do that. Horton Hears a Who is about the bombing of Hiroshima. A person is a person no matter how small. I just want to make sure we covered everything. The Cat in the Hat. It was banned because it was a revolt against authority. The Cat in the Hat is what distinguished Dr. Seuss and made him a rising star. It totally blew up. In fact, he says that the Cat in the Hat blew up Dick and Jane. That's how children were taught to read, was with Dick and Jane books, right? Dick does this, Jane does this. And so by doing the Cat in the Hat with those crazy characters, those big pictures, the big words, he changed how children's books were written, you know, probably for all time. Cat in the Hat was banned because it was a revolt against authority. If you remember it, Cat in the Hat comes in when parents are away, makes a big old mess. Mother's about to walk in. They hurry up and clean everything up, and then Mother says, well, what did you guys do today? And then it ends with a cliffhanger. What would you say? Would you tell her the truth, or would you just be like, it's too hard to believe. You wouldn't believe us if we told you. So revolt against authority, it's actually listening to Mother, respecting Mother, getting everything clean before Mother gets back. But why do we respect authority? Seriously, why would we respect authority? The biggest crimes throughout all human history, genocide, war, slavery, all that was allowed to proceed and was allowed to happen because of blind obedience to authority. Well, you know, the slave master says we can't leave the plantation and we ain't got no rights. God, do what the slave master says. The Index Librorum Prohibitorium. That's the Catholic banned books list. The Index Librorum Prohibitorium. And they went after Bruno Giordano, Hugo Grotius, Thomas Brown, Thomas Hobbes. They went after a lot of people. Basically anybody that thought anything that was, you know, different than what the Catholic Church had said was the truth. They made sure they had this banned book list. That's a book list. You should, you know, you want to get into reading books? That's a good book list to begin with because they banned it. Why would the Catholic Church ban, you know, a book? The Cat in the Hat is actually a revolt against authority whatsoever. It's just maybe, you know, when you have a fantastic story to tell the authority figures, since they're always such, you know, right-wing fascist, butthole, fucking dickhole, oppressor, molester, pieces of shit, since authority figures are assholes and they only care about manipulating and controlling you and turning you into a tool for their own, you know, for their own means, that's why would anybody just submit to authority? I think just saying authority is bullshit. The solution to right-wing fascism is left-wing fascism. So, you know, that's if somebody was to try to punch me and I punch them, I'm totally in the right for that. The Cat in the Hat, they question, you know, what would you say? It's a good little moral conundrum. If anything, Grimm's fairy tales prepared children better because they showed the harsh realities of life. Even your own parents might just walk out in the woods and let you starve to death. Even your own. That's Hansel and Gretel, right? The Cat in the Hat, the Sneetches, Horton Hears a Who, Marvin K. Mooney, Will You Please Go Now, Hop on Pop, the Lorax, Yertle the Turtle, Green Eggs and Ham, Sneetches, I think Butter Battle Book, Yertle the Turtle, Lorax. Even if I'm repeating them, these are books, the Dr. Seuss books you should start out with. I haven't read a couple of these. I also need to read I Can Read with My Eyes Shut. It's my favorite, it's my sweetheart's favorite Dr. Seuss book ever. There is one more thing that I want to mention. Just he said he was subversive, so he was writing so people would question authority. So that's already known. His politics, perhaps people knew who Dr. Seuss was about. But I think he was lefty, so he's a, you know, a socialist. So why would China ban a lefty book? Because, well, you know, even communism can become authoritarian too. Communism can be fascist as well. 1967, Theodore Dreiser, Dr. Seuss's wife, Helen, committed suicide. She did it with an overdose of barbiturates after a series of illnesses, including cancer that spanned over 13 years. She was also despondent over Ted's affair with Audrey Stone Diamond. So between the affair and having all these health issues, she just felt like she couldn't live without him, and so she wrote in her suicide note, Dear Ted, what has happened to us? I don't know. I feel myself in a spiral going down, down, down into a black hole from which there is no escape, no brightness, and loud in my ears from every side I hear, failure, failure, failure. I love you so much. I'm too old and enmeshed in everything you do and are that I cannot conceive of life without you. My going will leave quite a rumor, but you can say I was overworked and overwrought. Your reputation with your friends and fans will not be harmed. Sometimes think of the fun we had. Sometimes think of the fun we had through the years. That's Helen to Ted, Theodore Dreiser. I think, wait, is it Dreiser? I hope so. Helen Marion Palmer Geisel. Theodore Geisel. Dreiser, I think it's a different author. But Geisel, Theodore Geisel is Dr. Seuss's real name. That was his antonym, his pen name, Dr. Seuss. I don't even know if he actually, graduated medical school or got his master's in anything. Is he allowed to call himself a doctor? So Dr. Seuss, after he found out that his wife had killed himself and wrote this letter, he didn't know what to do. He says, I didn't know whether to kill myself, burn the house down, or just go away and get lost. Ted's niece, Peggy, said that whatever Helen did, she did it out of absolute love for Ted, and Peggy called Helen's death her last and greatest gift to him. So